Hello everyone, welcome to Sunburned Plays Ace Attorney Trilogy episode 75. Just got done talking to Larry Butts about his position at the security guard of a company that Ron DeLite apparently works at, and is no doubt going to have some connection to what's going on here, but I'm pretty sure I'm done talking to you. So we could probably go to the detention center, maybe talk to Ron about his job and like some of that stuff. Oh, but we're supposed to go to the Atmey Detective Agency because that's where Pearl is, so let's do that.
Ah, Mr. Nick, Mystic Maya, Pearly. I never thought I'd see the two of you again.
So is Mr. Ace Detective out of the office?
Yes, when I arrived here, there wasn't a single soul in sight. Say, Nick, doesn't it look like something's changed since we were here last?
Just the thing on the table. Now that you mention it.
This bag, I'm sure it wasn't here before. It looks quite full. I wonder what could be in here. Hey, Nick, come on, open it up.
Hey, wait a minute. We can't just open his private property.
Don't be such a fuddy-duddy. This is an important investigation.
That's true. And truth be told, I have to admit I am kind of curious.
Well, what's in there?
Hang on a sec. I'm taking it out now. Whatever it is, it feels kinda hard and smooth.
Well, hello there.
Eek! He's here!
What are you doing, Sir Lawyer? I'm shocked to see a servant of the court ignoring the law so flagrantly.
I'm really sorry. Maya made me do it.
Nick, I can't believe you.
A gentleman never uses a lady as an excuse for his own poor behavior. The real question is, can you afford to waste time lollygagging about here?
What do you mean by that?
Perhaps I should make myself more clear. Tomorrow's trial, Zavari, shall we say the figurative, Sir William will be dropping his panties before lunchtime?
Wow, Nick, sounds like it's gonna be really exciting.
Dude, what the hell did he just say? What's going to happen at the trial tomorrow that's so dramatic?
Do you know what your biggest mistake so far has been, Sir Lawyer? It was becoming a lawyer in the first place.
That certainly does sound like a big mistake, Mr. Nick.
Tomorrow will be a day to remember. I, Luke Atmey, will take the stand. And then, Zavari, my testimony will prove to be the undoing of the lot of you. Yes, all of you. I will unmask you as the thief's co-conspirators.
Conspirators?
You're quick on the defensive, I see. However, it is not I that is your greatest enemy. There is a far more dangerous threat that you will face during the trial.
What are you talking about?
Sir Lawyer, if you truly are who you say, I'm sure you've heard of him.
Oh, this is the dude with like the X-Man Cyclops mask, huh?
His name is Godot.
Godot? Yes, I know how to pronounce Godot. Thank you, people who had no faith in me in the comments like a couple episodes ago.
You have taken a step down the path of foolishness. To try to defend a career criminal who deserves nothing less than the death penalty.
Hey, last time I checked, no one knows for sure that Mr. DeLite really is Damask.
My dear lady, times may change, but people sadly do not. Well, you will understand this when you are more mature.
Who is this Godot person?
It's not surprising that a spirit medium has not heard the name. Godot, the prosecutor whose equal cannot be found in this country but in heaven. Godot, a legend or myth, men pin a lifetime of hopes on the chance to simply meet him.
Prosecutor Godot? But the best prosecutor in the country isn't Godot, it's Mr. Edgeworth. Isn't that right, Nick?
It's no surprise that a spirit medium such as yourself would know nothing of this, but Ace Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth is currently traveling abroad.
Huh?
In fact, it was Mr. Edgeworth who acknowledged Godot as the best in this country.
And you agree with that?
Most certainly. In fact, you could call him the Luke Atmey of the prosecutor's office.
Well, that's good to hear. The prosecution has a fighting chance tomorrow. Mr. Nick, is this Godot really that strong?
Strong, like it's Dragon Ball Z. What's his power level? I seem to remember hearing about someone like that.
Not surprising. Some people spend their entire lives idly waiting for his appearance.
It looks like we're done investigating for the day.
Sir Lawyer, the stage has been set and all the pieces are finally in place. All that remains now is for the dance to begin.
A new prosecutor, an ace detective, and a thief. This will be one tough trial. Oh, yes, oh, to be continued, 5 minutes. More than 5 minutes, actually. But hey, that's fine. Let's save our progress up to this point. Dude, how am I gonna voice this Godot person? What kind of a person is he? From the box art, I got no... Well, I mean, you can have, like, kind of an idea, but, like, I can't just... I gotta hear him say some stuff first, and then we'll, like, figure it out.
Hey, Nick!
What is it? Is something wrong?
Nah, but did you see all the people here? It's crazy! Oh, so check out the Mask to Mask glossy I bought.
You bought this where?
From the little tents in front of the courthouse. They have all sorts of things for sale. You know I'm a sucker for this kind of stuff.
Ooh, a shot of Mask to Mask striking a pose. It's gonna be another one of those things where it's like, oh, his 3 symbols! Top hat, silk hat! Or no, what is it? Silk hat, purple cloak, silk cloak, no, silk hat, something cloak, white roses! Dude, what was the cloak? Oh well, I forget. There was some adjective, but that's fine.
Come on, I'm guilty! Throw the book at me! Who's screaming like that? Oh, Mr. Wright, you made it!
Yeah, I did, but it doesn't look like things are going to get any less ugly for you.
Because I did it! I'm the criminal! Me! 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 Ugh, he's at it again. I sent the calling card to Lordly Taylor! I admit it!
But you don't have the sacred urn, right?
Well, that's true, but that doesn't mean that I didn't commit the crime.
Normally when I say, of course you didn't, I'm being sarcastic, but you... Yikes.
Anyway, I admit that I'm guilty, so make sure they give me a guilty verdict, please?
Oh, there you are, Ronnie. Bonjour, sweetie.
Oh, Desi, honey. Bonjour. Well, actually, I don't really know why I should be speaking French to you at a time like this.
Leave it all to me, Ronnie. I swear I'll protect you.
Well, you see, actually, the thief is, me.
Can I tell you something, Nicky boy? I can guarantee that my Ronnie is innocent. If he's declared guilty, I'll be ever so cross with you. So why are you smiling when you say it? Well, if you'll excuse me, I've got some errands I need to take care of. I'm counting on you, Nicky boy. Good luck! To be honest, I really don't know whether Ron is Mask to Mask or not. But there's only one thing I am sure of. He doesn't have the sacred urn right now. Mr. DeLite, it's time for you to enter the courtroom. For the time being, I guess I'll have to trust Desiree. Oh, he's right there. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron DeLite. The defense is ready, Your Honor. What about the prosecution? Are you prepared to... What a stupid question. Word still... This is not his voice, but just let me... What did you say? Fine. Let me ask you then, Your Honor. Are you ready? Are you ready to pass judgment? No, I'm not. I will pass judgment after I hear arguments from both sides. Well, if you're not ready yourself, you shouldn't expect others to be. That's a rule to live by. Who are you? I am Godot. Legendary prosecutor. I've never lost a case.
Ah, he's the one that Detective Atmey was talking about.
Yes, your reputation precedes you. What kind of cases have you dealt with so far?
Ha! None.
What did you say? I've never prosecuted a case before. Never? But you said you've never lost before. Exactly. I've never lost. I've never won before either. Quite arrogant for a beginner, aren't you? Even the mightiest of redwoods begin their lives as mere saplings. Yes, but a mask? In a court of law?
Ha! Don't you know anything? No matter the man, we all wear masks, either on our faces or over our hearts.
This guy is the real deal, alright, Nick. Why does it seem like all prosecutors are the real deal?
So we finally meet, Mr. Phoenix Trite.
Nick, is he a friend of yours?
No, I don't have any friends that call me Trite.
Just who is this masked man?
I've returned from the depths of hell to do battle with you.
Well then, Prosecutor Gobo.
Are you joking? It's not Gobo, it's Godot, Your Honor.
In any case, please give your opening statement.
Opening statement? Those things are not fit for even dogs to consume. I have only one thing to say before we start. To you, Mr. Trite.
What is it?
Are you familiar with the saying, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link? I wonder how much you can withstand before you and your case break in two.
Alright, I'm starting to like this voice for him, actually. We're still gonna flesh it out a little bit more, but like the theatrics of it is accurate, I believe.
Well then, let's hear from the first witness.
My name is... No one has asked for your name, witness. The important thing is what you know, that's all. Start talking, we're listening. Yes, sir.
All right, witness. First, let's hear about what you know about the thief that stole the urn.
Yes, sir. Mask Damask is a master thief that first started his crime spree 6 months ago. He's so confident that he sends his calling card before he even commits the crime. This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card on to Lordly Taylor. His pattern is to always go after only the most precious art pieces. That's why we're sure it was Mask Damask, sir. It fits his MO to a T.
So then the actual identity of this Mask Damask is... Mr. Godot, what are you...
What the hell's going on?
We're in the middle of a trial here, Mr. Godot.
Blacker than a moonless night, hotter and more bitter than hell itself. That is coffee. I'm sure you can grant me at least this much, Your Honor. Oh, please, proceed.
Very well. It's only coffee, after all.
What? You can't be letting him slide this early in the trial?
Proceed with your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Well, Nick, what are you going to do? As long as they haven't brought up Mr. DeLite's identity, all we can do is show that it wasn't Mask Damask who stole the urn. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. Mask Damask is a master thief that first started his crime spree 6 months ago. We'll just press everything. Have you been involved in the investigation from the beginning?
Yep, nobody knows more about the thief than me, pal. It's true, I'm a Zavari, author on thieves.
An author? He's written books about thieves? I think he probably meant to say authority.
The fact that this guy can slip through even my fingers shows how good he is, pal.
It's easy when those fingers happen to be butterfingers. So nobody... That was pretty good, actually. So nobody knows more about the thief than you.
You got it, pal. Except maybe for the thief's mom, that is.
But isn't there someone who knows even more about him than the police?
You don't mean Detective Zavari, do you?
Who is this person? Zavari? He sounds German.
His name is Luke Atmey, sir. I guess I shouldn't have made up such a silly name for him.
What the heck? I guess he's not all that famous after all.
Anyway, it's true that he did manage to retrieve the last item the thief stole.
Oh, I see. It seems you are not the expert you claim to be. It looks like the thief is toying with me, even now.
So confident that he sends his calling card before he even commits a crime, right? Have you seen all of these so-called calling cards?
Of course I have, except the person in charge of the treasure exhibit never brought their card to the police. So I didn't see this one until after the crime occurred.
That's because Detective Atmey stopped Miss Andrews from taking it to the police.
Was the calling card that Lordly Taylor received authentic? Well, all the cards have one common identifying feature, but we're not releasing that information to the general public. But you're absolutely certain that this card is real?
Gumshoe can't say it out loud, but I bet he's talking about Mask to Mask's emblem.
This was his 5th heist, and as usual, he sent a card on to Lordly Taylor.
His 5th heist, and your 5th screw-up, huh?
Objection, pal! That ain't fair. Maybe you could say I screwed up 4 times, but this last time wasn't my fault. I didn't know about the calling card this time.
You, of all people, shouldn't be chuckling about this, Detective Gumshoe.
I just want everyone here in the courtroom to know something. If you ever get a calling card from this guy, don't call some stupid private eye. Call your local police right away. Got me?
Wow, looks like he's really got it in for Detective Atmey.
His pattern is to always go after only the most precious art pieces. But the urn, is completely valueless. Can we just contradict this right away? Oopsies. Or do we have to, like, wait for him to append something? Has no monetary value, exactly. Can I ask you a little something, Detective Gumshoe?
Just hearing the little in that question is making me nervous.
You said that he always goes after the most precious art pieces, right?
That's right, pal.
But there's one problem. That's not what he did in this case. The supposedly priceless urn doesn't exactly rise to the level of precious art.
What do you mean?
Nick, how can you say such a terrible thing?
No, I meant from a financial point of view. I mean, it wouldn't fetch a good price.
Well, Prosecutor Godot, what is the value of that urn? The appraisers I spoke to said they couldn't attach a price to it, and I mean that in the worst sense.
So in other words, it was not the kind of item that Mask to Mask would normally go after. If I understand you correctly, Mr. Wright, you're saying that the theft of the sacred urn was not the work of Mask to Mask. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Actually, all I did was point out the contradiction. The argument made itself, but...
Well, first of all, we need to get this issue cleared up. Was this last robbery the work of Mask to Mask or not? What do you have to say about this, Mr. Godot? This coffee here, it's my own special blend. I call it Godot number 107. I'm trying to decide whether to cut down on the acidity or the bitterness. That's the only thing I've got on my mind right now. Mr. Trite!
What?
If you're really a man, you should clean up your own mess.
Sorry, but I don't get what you mean.
If you're saying it wasn't Mask to Mask that stole the urn, then it must be someone imitating Mask to Mask's methods. A fake. A fake Damask?
Fake Damask? That sounds so ridiculous, but I like it.
Now, before I decide on my coffee, I believe some proof is in order, Mr. Trite. Proof that the person who appeared at Lordly Taylor that night was actually a fake.
Though I don't approve of Mr. Godot's behavior, his point is valid. Mr. Wright, we're waiting. It looks like I'm going to have to prove it. I need proof that the person at Lordly Taylor that night was in fact fake Damask. Would we not just use Ron DeLite's wallet? Okay, let me look at this. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Let's see. Come to KV Security at 1 a.m. on October 12th and bring $50,000. And he definitely did go because he dropped his letter. If you don't, I'll take that red diamond you received the other day instead. Red diamond?
What is this evidence supposed to prove? Ha! Well, it proves someone here is a fake, alright. It proves that this lawyer is a fake.
These prosecutors sure know how to twist the knife.
This is no time to be impressed. Think it over again.
Alright, well, I guess we gotta save now.
Are we not... I'm sorry, are we not there yet? Although, no, we haven't even... This isn't about Ron DeLite yet. It's about Mask to Mask. When he stole the urn, his photo was taken. Who knows? Maybe there's something on there that shows he's a fake. Should talk about the photo we got from Atmey? Okay. Well, they literally just gave me the answer. They don't usually do that. Which photo is it? That's the poster. This is the security camera photo. How would that prove that that wasn't Mask to Mask? He's got, like, crowns on his hands. Whereas if you look at this, he's got crowns on his hands and that too. And the outfit looks correct. I mean, they're telling me to do the photo. The proof is right here. How?
This looks like a photo taken by a security camera. But if you look closely, you'll notice something peculiar about it. Ha! Well then, why don't you go ahead and show us what it is? Go on, use this pointer and show us just what about this picture is so peculiar.
Well, the paint is pretty peculiar, but that's got nothing to do with the fact that this isn't Mask to Mask. He's got a box. The box had the urn in it, I assume. AM 5843. So this is like a minute before 1 a.m. It can't just be the paint. It's right here, I think.
Is that what was so peculiar? Ha! The place that you're pointing to is all wrong.
What do you mean?
The only thing peculiar in this courtroom is on top of your head.
Nick, are you going to let him get away with making fun of your hair?
Yes, at least until I know we can't use his goggles to fry me or something. Well, anyway, there is a strange spot in this photo. Still haven't given up, then what is it? What is it? Is it just the box, then? It's right here. Nope, okay. Dude, I don't get it. Is it the time? It is not the time. I am very confused about what the problem is. I don't understand what's happening. The door? No, it's not the door. Dude, what's the deal? The hat's the same. Everything's the same. Is it the hat? It's not the hat. Okay, well, at least while that's happening, I can look at this publicity photo. Yeah, the hat is the same. Then is he not wearing that, like, yellow necklace thing in the middle? Oh, he's not. Look at that. It's right here, of course.
You mean Mask to Mask?
I have here a piece of reference I would like the court to take a look at.
Isn't that the publicity photo I bought this morning?
The problem I have with the security camera photo is the brooch on Damask's chest. That is not how you spell brooch.
A breach? Here? Bailiff, get my steed. We need to retreat at once.
A brooch, Your Honor. It's a sort of clasp for holding one's cape on.
A clasp, eh? Ah, I see now. But the masked Damask in the security camera photo. Ah, he has no brooch.
That brooch is the same as the emblem on Damask's calling card and serves as his symbol. But the thief that broke into Lordly Taylor wasn't wearing a brooch. In other words, this masked Damask is a fake.
I've been fooled again! Order! It's true. Undeniably true. Detective Gumshoe, how could you have overlooked this? I'm sorry, sir. I don't know how I... Hey now. If you're gonna have a pity party, invite me too. Mr. Godot, you deserve some blame in this too. How could you have overlooked such a large brooch? Ha! The brooch you're talking about. Do you mean this? Ah!
That's Masked Damask's brooch.
Where did you find it? Well, I've always had a good nose for evidence. I got it at the crime scene. It was hidden in the shadow of a big female Buddha statue.
Buddha statue? He must mean the Amy Faye statue.
Why didn't you tell me about that, sir? I always put evidence away in my pocket. After all, it's the safest place for crucial evidence.
Yeah, this guy is one cool customer.
It's a little early to be shaken up, isn't it, little lady? That friend of yours left pretty little hickeys on there, too. Hickeys? Figuratively speaking, of course. I'm referring to Ron DeLite's fingerprints. What? What? The defendant's fingerprints are on the brooch? Order! Order in the court! Mr. Godot, let's see that brooch. I've grown attached to my metallic girlfriend here. Take good care of her. It appears to have been torn off some clothing. There's a little bit of cloth left on the back. Obviously, there must have been a big struggle that night at the crime scene.
Uh-oh. Phoenix, we have a problem.
Ha! You mess with Godot? And you get burned.
Gah, he's been playing me like a violin.
Well, Judge, I'm about ready to call my next witness. Huh? You're done with me? But I haven't proved anything yet. You've proven your own incompetence. That's good enough. That doesn't sound good at all. Bailiff, bring the next witness into the courtroom.
Finally, time for the ace detective to make his appearance, huh?
One second is one drip of the coffee pot. Let's hurry it up.
Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
What's clear?
Zvari! The truth has once again been elegantly revealed to me. What we have here is a judge and a prosecutor. A coffee maniac at that. Am I correct?
Well, yes, that's right. Ha! Not bad. Not bad at all. You're the first person that's ever been able to penetrate my secret veil.
Well, Sir Prosecutor, let me introduce myself. My name is Luke Atmey, ace detective and rising star illuminating the heavens.
Boy, these two make a perfect pair. They'd either be best friends or they'd tear each other's heads off.
I've heard that on the night of the crime, you were all alone on security detail.
You have heard correctly. My specially made monocle is worth more than 100 Detective Gumshoes. If Detective Gumshoe was worth anything, that is.
Why was this guy all by himself anyway? There must be some reason. I'm sure of it.
Well then, tell us what this special monocle of yours witnessed.
It was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the date changed. That's when my nemesis, the infamous Masked Damask, dancingly descended upon me. Just as I began to turn, the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone. 30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police.
30 minutes later, an emergency, huh?
So you didn't get a clear look at the criminal. My specially made monocle never misses a thing. However, that is limited to things that fall within my own visual range. But of course, that's only natural.
I fail to see why the witness seems so proud of his performance that evening.
Well, Sir Old-Timer, let me explain. We are not speaking of any ordinary thief, but of the king of thieves, the great Mask Damask, my arch enemy. That is what my instincts and my years of experience tell me.
Very well. Proceed with the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. Alright, it was approximately 1 o'clock in the morning, just after the date changed. I mean, we know that already. Just press it anyway, who cares? So that would be 1 o'clock on the morning of the 12th, correct?
That's an impressive deduction, Sir Lawyer.
You were on security duty that night. Where exactly were you at the time?
A penetrating question. I was in the basement warehouse near the computer.
Near the computer, huh? So then you weren't trying to remain hidden, I take it.
Up to this point, I have tried to remain concealed while waiting for this thief.
Yeah, he said the same thing yesterday, too.
Gumshoe also said that they've never spotted the thief at the crime scenes before.
Precisely. That is precisely why I chose not to hide last night. I knew that by not concealing myself, I would be putting pressure on the thief.
Looks like the thief was the one applying the pressure. On your pigeony head, that is.
In any case.
That's when my nemesis, the infamous Master Mask, dancingly descended upon me. Dancingly descended? From where exactly?
Well, from the entrance, I suppose. Where else?
So in actuality, he neither danced nor descended. Someone please save me. So how is it that you didn't notice the thief?
My eyes were looking for the thief's shadow while my ears listened for his footfalls. But even so, the dastardly criminal managed to sneak up on me. It can only be due to his subtly camouflaged cape and soft-soled shoes.
I hereby dub you Ace Dunce. In deterring the coward struck a fierce blow upon my noble head. You didn't see the criminal's face when that happened.
Well, that's the difficult part. How should I put it? I saw his mask. That's all that I can recall.
That's not very solid as far as testimony goes.
However, fortunately, I had my third monocle, the security camera, at the ready. It captured his image perfectly. This should be sufficient, I believe.
Well, as long as this photo is authentic, I don't see a problem here. Well, Mr. Godot, do you have a problem with the photo? Good, then let's continue with the testimony.
Darkness swallowed me before I could land a single strike. When I awoke, he was gone.
Attacked and knocked unconscious, and you weren't able to do a thing? That's certainly some very impressive detective work.
Well, Sir Lawyer, have you ever been suddenly struck on the head?
Huh? Well, actually, yes, by a fire extinguisher.
And what happened?
I was knocked out.
And you lost your memory, too.
You see, you have no right to look down on me then, do you? The only reason I didn't lose my memory was because I had more brains to begin with.
He may have brains, but the wiring to the self-reflection part seems to be severed.
In any case, that was how I was knocked senseless. And then...
His voice is such a bummer to, have to do.
30 minutes later, I used an emergency phone to notify the police.
About this 30 minutes,
my silver cord was loosened and my soul fled to the golden halls of Elysium.
As usual, I have no idea what this guy is saying.
I think he's saying that he was out cold. So, what happened during those 30 minutes?
No one can say, Your Honor. That span of time has truly vanished into the ether.
Just what is he going on about?
There's something suspicious about Detective Atmey. How could he not have noticed when the thief came in?
Also, he says he was knocked unconscious before he could fight back. But that can't be right. It contradicts the evidence.
Huh? Which piece?
The real question is, why would he tell such an obvious lie? How does that contradict the evidence? If I could land a single strike. I mean, yeah, I guess there was a struggle. because of, like, the paint and the statue being moved. Moved the night of the crime. But would you use the sword? Or would you use the statue? Do we have the paint? No. I mean, there had to have been a struggle, though. Let's try this. Okay, well, it's not that. Or perhaps we would use the photo and then point to the paint. Nope. Alright then. The sword? It's not the sword either. What else would, Oh, torn off. Oh, well, we didn't use the brooch then? Yeah, okay. How would it get torn off? Mr. Atmey, could you take a look at this with that special monocle of yours?
Aha! This belongs to the criminal mastermind, my arch-nemesis, Mask Damask. It is, in point of fact, Mask Damask's brooch.
It was found on the floor of the basement warehouse. I wonder how that happened.
Aha! Elementary, my dear lawyer. Obviously, it wasn't glued on well enough.
Not quite. It clearly shows signs of having been ripped off a piece of clothing.
Ripped off? Aha!
We can only deduce that the thief struggled with someone that night. That's the only thing I can think of. And there's only one person that was in a position to have a struggle with the thief. The only person that was on security duty that night, you, Detective Atmey. Detective Atmey, you must have fought with the thief that night. So, why did you lie in your testimony to the court?
Witness, giving false testimony is a serious crime. No. Wait, just a moment, Sir Old-Timer. Don't talk to me like I'm living in a nursing home. I just remembered, Your Honor. I was just confused because I've been dealing with so many cases lately.
The true measure of a man is in the amount of work he does. That's what I always say.
Nick, you can only handle one case at a time, isn't that right?
You talk too much. Witness, so are you now saying that you and the thief fought? Hold on. That's quite enough, Your Honor. Excuse me? Save the big questions for the testimony. That's one of my rules.
Indeed, I understand. I, Luke Atmey, agree completely.
Alright.
Indeed, it's true that I looked away from the door for a brief moment. However, Luke Atmey cannot be so easily discombobulated. Unfortunately, the thief grabbed a weapon from the side and rendered me senseless. A true gentleman fights only with his own fists, but they were not enough. His first blow struck true. Bam! And that's all she wrote.
A weapon from the side? What does that mean? So in the end, you did catch a glimpse of Mask Damask.
Correct. It was during his third crime that he struck me from behind. It seems that my memory has become a tad jumbled, so to speak.
Well, that's certainly understandable. I myself always get confused about which testimony goes with which case. That can't be good. Alright, so then would we contradict the thing with the side with the sword then? I would say possibly. Or perhaps we would press this. I mean, he said from the side. It's like... Alright, I guess there's nothing wrong with that, but we should press that. What do you mean by weapon from the side?
Naturally, that thief had no idea that I, Luke Atmey, was hiding in the area. He grabbed the sword from the statue that was standing by the door to the warehouse.
True. Sword? You mean the sword that was all twisted like a tree branch?
Correct. Fortunately for me, the blade was not sharp.
Okay, so he is talking about the Shishishito.
So the thief armed himself with a sword. And what about yourself, witness?
True gentleman fights only with his fists, but they were not enough. Alright, let's go back to the beginning then. So why did you look away from the door anyway?
In addition to the camera, I had prepared a variety of other sensors as well. The alarm on one of those had gone off, so I had to check the data. That's why I went to the computer. Elegantly, of course.
So you were momentarily vulnerable when you were working on the computer? What should I do? Should I ask some more questions? About the sensors. What kind of sensors are you talking about?
There are other places in the basement that someone could enter and exit from. There are air conditioner ducts, sewer pipes, and a cat door as well. I hooked up heat-detecting infrared and ultraviolet sensors to each of them.
That's a lot of hardware. Was it all yours?
Lordly Taylor Department Store was kind enough to provide the monitoring hardware. Naturally, the security camera that took the photo belongs to them as well.
In other words, he couldn't have rigged the equipment, huh? Or he couldn't have rigged the equipment.
Has that cleared up any doubts you had about me, Sir Lawyer?
What does that mean? Discombobulated?
Young people these days, they really irritate me. They allow perfectly good old words to die until everyone forgets what they mean.
Sorry, but what exactly does it mean anyway?
Now I've forgotten. Well, what was I saying?
Geez, it's better than old people who forget what they were saying 5 seconds ago.
Well, it looks like we've cleared that up. You can go on with your testimony.
Fortunately, the thief grabbed the weapon. Yep, we pressed that. You had that much faith in your own fighting abilities?
But of course, in college I was the second in charge of the boxing club.
I'm sorry if I failed to find that appropriately impressive.
However, my opponent in the ring this time was my arch nemesis, Mask to Mask.
This guy is a real piece of work. His first blow struck true, and that's all she wrote. Oh, but that couldn't be true either, because he tore off the brooch in the fight. So, like, what about your blow? Let's press it first to see. Can you tell us a little more about what happened?
My opponent was both powerful and vicious. You might say he was powericious.
Powericious?
I assumed the Atmey fighting stance, but a sudden flash of light blinded me. That, of course, was checkmate. My opponent had bested me.
What do I do now? Should I ask more about this? You were blinded? So what was this flash of light that blinded you?
I was bathed in a golden light that seemed to come from the statue of the woman.
The statue of Amy Faye, I'm guessing.
Well, that wasn't very much help at all. Well, what do you think, Nick?
Well, there's one thing that I'm absolutely sure of now.
Yeah? What is it?
This Luke Atmey guy, he's definitely hiding something.
But why?
I think I'm starting to figure out what really happened that night. And about the true nature of this detective. Okay, let's try to present this, the brooch. No? How could you have torn off his brooch if his first attack killed you? Or, you know what I mean. Alright, let's press this again and then try... the fighting style. What is this Atmey fighting style?
I'm sorry, but that's a trade secret. I really can't say any more. But I suppose I can tell you if I absolutely must. The main thing is to put your back to the wall. That way no one can get behind you.
That's it? That's the Atmey fighting style?
Well, Mr. Wright, what about that testimony?
Back to the wall. Then he couldn't have been struck on the back. Wasn't he struck on the back of the head? Yes. Okay, that is actually very important. How about that? Of course it's important. We've learned a detective's secret technique, after all. Yes, indeed. I'll remember to use it if I ever take a walk alone late at night. Why the heck is he eyeballing me like that? It's creeping me out. Now then, witness. We'll go ahead and add that secret information to your official testimony. The thief's blow landed upon my third eye. Yes, this... I can't believe that was actually important. Who would have thought? Detective Atmey, your testimony is crumbling like a house of cards.
What fun this is, Sir Lawyer. It is truly a pleasure to cross swords with you. And now, once again, you have thrown down the gauntlet at my armored feet.
I believe this is what you said yesterday.
No, the coward must have wormed his way in through somewhere besides the door. Then my arch-nemesis struck me on the head from behind with this gruesome item here.
From behind, huh? But just now you testified that he struck you on the forehead. I hardly think you could forget where you were hit on the head.
It seems I've made another mistake.
Detective Atmey, that's not the only strange part of your testimony. What do you mean by that? For example, the very fact that you hid the calling card from the police itself is strange. It's almost as if you were afraid they were going to help with security.
Geniuses such as myself have always been misunderstood. How sad.
That's wrong. To err is human, to forgive divine. Humans aren't machines. They have souls, feelings. They live, they die, they love, they hate, and yes, they even make mistakes. Hey, hold on. It's not as pretty as that.
Really? What is it like then?
Always chase a riddle down to the end. That's one of my rules. This is it. This might just be my chance to turn things around. Mr. Wright, what exactly is it that you're asserting? Let's find out. Very well, Your Honor. The defense asserts that... Mr. Atmey is mask to mask. This Mr. Atmey is a fake. Mr. Atmey is no ace detective. Yeah, let's try this. The answer is simple. It's all clear to me now. Detective Luke Atmey's true identity is actually Mask to Mask.
Yerg!
Order in the court. Mr. Wright, what is the meaning of this? There are too many unnatural parts to Mr. Atmey's story. He says he was hiding at the crime scenes, which is why no one ever saw him there. And then, in his last case, he manages to outperform Detective Gumshoe and the entire police force to miraculously retrieve the stolen treasure.
That's because I analyzed the crime scene data and made an exquisitely elegant deduction. I picked up clues that the police overlooked in order to arrive at a...
Oh, please! The explanation is far simpler than that, Detective Atmey. The truth is that you are, in fact, Mask to Mask.
Yerg!
But Mr. Wright, this photo, it clearly shows Mask to Mask. This security camera belongs to Lordly Taylor Department Store. He shouldn't have been able to manipulate it. He didn't need to manipulate it. He gained access to the warehouse under the pretense of providing security. Then he simply dressed up as the thief and stole the urn. So, the ace detective is actually an ace thief. Is this true, witness?
Aha! Damask's MO is pure genius, and so am I, Luke Atmey, ace detective. You're very clever to have come to such a conclusion. I am impressed, Sir Lawyer.
What? Witness, you're admitting it?
Nick, now's your chance.
Yes, time to put the last nail in this guy's coffin. Detective Atmey, when you assumed the thief's identity... Wow. Godot blend number 102, my personal favorite.
Mr. Godot, the ace detective is actually an ace thief. I smell a best-selling novel. There's only one problem. It simply isn't true. But Mr. Godot, Mr. Wright has made some very strong points, and I will admit my opponent has woven a compelling narrative out of whole cloth. But it is, in fact, nothing more than a patchwork quilt, Mr. Trite. If this detective really is the thief, then show us the proof of your claim. But it had better be as hot and as perfect as the coffee dripping down your face. Well, Mr. Wright, don't just stand there. Oh boy. We don't have proof, though. This court would like to see this decisive proof you have. Quickly! Huh? Oh, yes, of course. What's the big rush?
Are you alright, Nick?
Atmey looks pretty rattled right now. I'd like to finish this right now if I can, but can I really do it? The decisive evidence that proves Mr. Luke Atmey is in fact Mask to Mask. It has yet to be found. Like, we straight up don't have it. I know, like, for sure. Proof! Of course I've got nothing. Ha! Just what I thought. A man has to hold his head up high no matter how bad things get, after all. Ugh. I see. I thought perhaps you had some evidence to back up your assertion. This is no good. I've got to stay on the attack. I'll never get another chance to prove that this guy is the thief.
Don't give up, Nick. Think harder and try it. But there is no proof.
It's no good, I'm just not ready yet.
But are you going to just give up and let us lose this?
So, you've come to your senses, have you, Sir Lawyer? I can't think of a counterattack at all. It seems the cloud of suspicion surrounding this witness has lifted. Mr. Godot, if you have anything further to add, then... Who? Who are you?
That doesn't really matter right now, does it?
Miss DeLite, what are you doing here?
Nicky boy! The thing you've been looking for, I think I found it.
You mean that bag?
Ooh, that bag that was on his office. No, not the bag. What's in the bag? Well?
That's...
The sacred urn! Nick, it's the urn!
Order! Order! You, madam, that urn, where did you find it?
You'll never believe it. It was in the office of Mr. Fancy Pants Ace Detective, Luke Atmey. Oh, Desi, you're the best!
Well, how do you explain that one, Mr. Atmey? Even you are going to have a hard time weaseling out of this one. Ha! Pathetic. Mr. Godot, do you have something you wish to say? Yes, Your Honor. It simply amazes me how quickly times change. In the old days, a man was to be taken at his word. It's truly sad. You're still denying that Mr. Atmey was involved. Before casting aspersions at Detective Atmey, consider the young lady here. Your name is Desiree. Desiree DeLite. Is that correct?
Yes. What about it?
Ha! How charming. The lengths that a woman is willing to go to save her husband is truly inspiring.
What are you insinuating?
As the wife of the criminal, you could have discovered that stolen urn anywhere, including the office of the good detective here. So you found the urn. What does that prove? It certainly doesn't prove where the urn was before you found it.
What? I just brought it here from the detective's office.
Please, madam. This town is already filled to the brim with lies. Any more could only compound the tragedy we have been witness to.
You're wrong. I would never do such a thing.
Miss DeLite.
Please, Nicky boy, you've got to help me talk some sense into these people.
There must be some way. I've got to prove that urn was actually in the Atmey Detective Agency. Well, that's gonna do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.